Hello, good afternoon once again. I hope you're able to see me and hear me clearly now. Thumbs up in the comments. Please tell me in the comments if you can hear me properly now. Are you hearing? Perfect. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephanie Williams, the current president of the UWIAS Actuarial Society, and it is truly a pleasure to welcome you all to what promises to be an exciting and intense nominee debate. Today, we gather here not just to witness the presentation of manifestos, but to celebrate leadership, courage, and vision. As we look ahead to the 2025-2026 academic year, we are here to see who will take up the mantle to lead one of the largest and most impactful clubs on the UWIMONA campus, a society built on excellence, dedication, and a rich legacy. Before we begin, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the nominees. It takes great courage and commitment to step forward and offer yourself to serve on the UAS executive team. I can confidently say that while the journey of leadership is never easy, it is always worthwhile, filled with challenges that shape you and victories that uplift both you and those you serve. For this evening's proceedings, nominees vying for the positions of Public Relations Officer, PRO, Treasurer, and General Secretary will each have 3 minutes to share their manifesto, while nominees for Vice President and President will each have 5 minutes to present themselves and their vision for the society. Following the presentations for each position, there will be a 5 to 10 minute Q&A segment where members of the current executive team and club members may ask questions to the respective nominees. Now, here are the nominees who boldly stepped up to serve. We have Miss Kaylee Jade Campbell vying for the uncontested position of Public Relations Officer. We have Miss Kedisha Anglin, Miss Leah Cassie, and Miss Jamila Coy vying for the position of Treasurer. We have Miss Leah Cassie again and Miss Shaniqua Small vying for the position of General Secretary. We have Mr. Khalil Mitchell and Mr. Noya Salman vying for the position of Vice President. And we have Miss Kenelia Bailey and Mr. Ajani Crossman vying for the position of President. Feel free to show your support by clapping, commenting positively, and cheering on your preferred nominees throughout the session. Let's keep the energy respectful, uplifting, and high spirited. Before we begin the debates, it's only fitting that we acknowledge and welcome the presence of the Lord in our midst. To do so, I now invite Ms. Orvian Brown, the current External Affairs Chairperson, to bless today's proceedings. Following the prayer, we'll begin with Ms. Kaylee J. Campbell, our nominee for Public Relations Officer. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please bow your head in reverence. Most righteous and eternal Father, mighty God, we come before your presence this afternoon, O God. I want to thank you for another day. I want to thank you for your continuous blessings, O God, and your mercy. Mighty God, as we're about to have this debate, mighty God, we place everything before you, mighty God, that everything goes smooth and well. Mighty God, we pray for our candidates, O Lord. We pray that you will give them the courage, mighty God, help them not to be nervous, O God, and to be able to answer the questions to the best of their abilities. Once again, we place this all before you, O God. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Good luck to all our candidates.
Good afternoon, UWIAS fam. My name is Kelly J. Campbell, and I am honored to be running for the position of Public Relations Officer for the Executive Board of the UWI Actuarial Society. As a dedicated student with a passion for communication, I believe the role of PRO is not just about sharing information, it's about connecting people, building our brand, and creating a sense of belonging in our society. If elected, I aim to bring clarity, creativity, and consistency to how we communicate. But beyond that, I'm excited to introduce three initiatives aiding to the betterment of our society. First, I'll introduce a weekly digest similar to a previously suggested content calendar, which will be a simple visual weekly summary sent in our group chats, posted on all our platforms, as well as listed in our emails that will highlight events that for the upcoming week, deadlines, and opportunities in a quick reading. This ensures that every member and prospective member is aware of the happenings of our society and won't miss a thing. Second, for branding and community engagement, I propose a major initiative, UEAS On Air. This would be our very own podcast project where we dive into all things actuarial related, from exam tips to study strategies to interviews with professionals, discussions about industry trends, and even sessions similar to our recent coaching actuaries. It's a platform by us for us, and it can expand or reach across UE and beyond many. This podcast would be available to everyone, not just members, and can be streamed any day of the week, whether you're commuting, walking to class, or even after a quick study sesh. The specific episodes will not the specific day the episodes will be released will be determined, but consistency will be key. With time and teamwork, this project could also attract sponsorships, making it a potential income stream for our society, funding events, merch, and more. And while I lead the vision as PRO, I believe the initiative calls for collaboration across the membership and executive bodies, which is exactly the kind of culture I aim to build if I am elected. Third, to celebrate our members, I'll start the Faces of UWI campaign, which is a spotlight series showcasing the amazing members of our society. It will give our members the chance to build connections and recognition and will also expose them to opportunities, whether through networking, collaborations, or being noticed by professionals and alumni who follow our society on different platforms. It's a way to remind every member that within the UEAS, they are seen, valued, and celebrated. At the heart of all these ideas, my main goal is to keep you all informed, involved, and inspired. I'm ready to serve, listen, and innovate. So don't forget to hashtag slay the day and vote for Key. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylee. We'll now have Mohita Shindapali, the current public relations officer, asking you some questions.
Hi, Kaylee. That was a really good speech. So I just have a few questions for you. Plans are great. So how do you envision to stay on track with all these plans, plus, the stresses of like UE coming up? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Well, I plan to make use of all my organizational platforms and my organizational platforms such as Notion or just platforms like that to help me organize all of my to-dos and assignments and everything so that I can allot a certain amount of time to everything and be on time with everything.
All right. Okay. And what are some new initiatives that you'd like to bring apart from the ones that you've already said? Like, have you thought of any newer initiatives that you'd like to bring to the UW Actual Society and math department in general to expand, like, reach, I guess?
To expand reach, well, Apart from the ones, not necessarily. I was more just focused on the ones I thought of. For example,
Mm-hmm.
the podcast. I think that could be really good since a
Okay.
lot of people are listening to more podcasts. Podcasts are becoming more popular in this
Yeah.
time. So I was thinking that could be a good initiative since that would go beyond UE.
Okay.
Anyone can listen to it anywhere they choose at any.
Oh,
Um,
that's really nice. That's really nice. That's nice. Last question. Um, what are some of the positions that you'd have on your subcommittee to divide the work accordingly?
well, we could have someone who videos content or takes pictures. We could have an editor of those images and videos. We could also have someone who is dedicated to making the different posters. For example, the weekly digest initiative. We could have someone who is dedicated to making stuff like that, as well as what I said before, like a videographer, a photographer, and yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. That's it for me. Good job, Kaylee.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you so much, Kaylee and Mohita. We will now ask the audience if they have any questions for Kaylee Jade Campbell. I'm seeing no questions for Miss Campbell. So now we're moving on to the nominees who are vying for the position of treasurer. Those are Miss Kadisha Anglin, Miss Leah Cassie, and Miss Jamila Coy. We will begin with Miss Kadisha Anglin. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kadisha Anglin, and I'm excited to be running for treasurer of the Actuarial Society Club. When it comes to managing money, it's not just about numbers, it's about trust, organization, and making sure every cent is accounted for. As a former treasurer of Central High School Tourism Club, I've gained real experience in handling budget, organizing fundraisers, and ensuring financial transparency. I'm here to be I'm here to being clear, responsible, and effective financial leadership to our club so you can focus on what matters most, which is growing together, learning from each other, and making sure every opportunity is and making sure the most of every opportunity. So, what am I promising you? Firstly, transparency. You'll always know where the money is going. I'll provide regular updates, clear breakdown, and make sure all spending is accountable and visible to members. I believe that trust begins with communication, so I'll create easy to read financial reports, keep an open door policies for questions, and make sure you're never left in the dark about your club funds how your club funds are being used. Whether it's event expenses, fundraising outcomes, or budgeting decision, you'll be informed every step of the way. Second, making every dollar count. I won't just manage the budget, I'll make it work for you. I'll work closely with the executive team to ensure our funds are spent where they matter most, events that inspire, opportunities that elevate, and experiences that grow our scale. With careful planning and thoughtful spending, I'll help the club stay financially strong and focus on the future. Thirdly, opportunities for you. Whether it's funding guest speakers, workshop, networking event, or competitions, I'll prioritize initiatives that help you grow, both academically and professionally. By working closely with the fundraising team in committee, I'll ensure finances are never a barrier to great opportunities. I plan to introduce more creative and consistent fundraising efforts, including selling branded merchandise, like water bottles, pencil case, and stickers. This fund could allow us to do even more, like offering a scholarship or grant to the most outstanding member at the end of the year. I also want to improve our planning process. For example, jerseys will be discussed and finalized early in the academic year so that members receive them on time and can enjoy them throughout the semester. No idea will be shut down or no opportunity missed due to lack of funds not on my watch. And fourth and finally, proven and practical leadership. My experience goes beyond the classroom. With over 5 years of accounting in school and hands on experience as treasurer, I bring not just knowledge but financial leadership you can trust. If you want someone who will handle our finances with care, keep things transparent, and fight for more values for all members, then I ask for your vote. Let's make every dollar count and every decision one we can all be proud of. Vote Kadisha Anglin for treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you, Khadisha. We will now have Miss Leah Cassie.
Sorry, can you hear me now? I just realized I was muted. Good afternoon, Stephanie, fellow candidates, my UAS family, and of course, my fellow opponents. I have been nominated for the position of treasurer, and thus I am here to present my candidacy. From a young age, I have always loved math. I loved math up to the point where it made me physically sick to not do it and to not do it as an additional subject in sixth form. In high school, I was tasked with budgeting the Red Cross Club's funds to decide what should be purchased for food sales and a reasonable price to sell them at so that the club could maximize on its profits. With that being said, this is certainly not my first rodeo in a position like this. Therefore, why should it be a question? Budget Queen, that's Leah on the scene. As treasurer, I promise to implement effective financial planning and budgeting protocols. I find it important that each member should contribute dues towards the overall funding of the club. I would come to an agreement with our UAS family to decide how much each member should contribute per month based on careful and strategic planning. I also believe that we should notify our members where their funding is going towards. With hope, I would continue to have our annual slushy sales as well as other fundraising events to prolong the funding for our UAAS community. Rather than have our club operate on a short term basis, we should strive for it to operate on a long term basis. Therefore, you should keep in mind that for funds that flow, book Cassie you know. Choose me to lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. We will now have Miss Jamila Coy.
Stephanie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamila Koye, and I am honored to present myself as a candidate for the position of treasurer. I believe that strong financial management is the foundation of any successful organization. And as treasurer, my goal would not only be to manage our funds wisely, but to help build a society where every member feels valued, informed, and empowered to contribute. If elected, I am committed to, firstly, revitalizing member engagement with dues and fees. So I plan to introduce systems that make financial participation more engaging and worthwhile. This would include timely reminders and incentives for members to consistently pay their dues. Secondly, strategic and cost effective fundraising. I plan to develop a creative and practical fundraising strategy that spans the entire academic year. Building on the solid foundation that has been laid by the current Treasury Committee, I will continue to organize affordable and enjoyable fundraisers, including but not limited to cultural food sales, bake sales, and slushy sales. I also hope to expand our collaborations with other clubs and societies, an approach that can not only help reduce costs but also fosters a sense of community among our members. Additionally, I would like to introduce branded merchandise that's easy and affordable to produce, such as armbands and stickers, so members can proudly rep their UEAS spirit. Thirdly, smarter financial management. To keep things organized and efficient, I will use digital tools to manage our budgets, track spending, and maintain accurate financial records. And lastly, promoting transparency and accountability. I believe that the role of treasurer extends beyond just handling finances. It also demands trust, openness, and accountability. So I will provide clear, consistent financial updates so you, the members, are in the know of how our funds are being used. Having outlined the plans that I would execute if elected treasurer, I hope that I have convinced you, the members of the UWI Actuarial Society, that I am the right fit for the job. So don't delay and vote Koye for treasurer, and let's make every cent count. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamila. Well said. All were well said. I'll just invite Miss Khadisha, Miss Leah, and Mr. Bradley Smith on stage so that the current treasurer, Mr. Bradley Smith, can ask you some questions.
Good afternoon. If you can see me. Sure. Hello.
Could I
Oh, you can see me. The stream clear.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so my first question is: do you have any experience in this role per se, like in previous aspects of your life, such as I don't know, high school, eventing, community service, or so on. So, do you have any like prior experience in this role in bookkeeping and treasury?
Yes, I have prior experience in treasury. I was treasurer for the tourism club at my high school, Central High School, where we plan regular trips and fundraising activities such as cake sale and yeah, tourism represent clubs that we go out very often, and I had to manage the budget and ensure we are financially cleared for each event.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Anyone else?
I guess I'll go next.
Yes, Leah.
Okay, so when I was in my previous club, Red Cross Club in sixth form, really and truly, I was elected as the event coordinator, but since I was one of the main persons who was able to attend the club meetings almost every week, I kind of had a hand in the various roles. So I played a part. Sorry, I assisted the treasurer in her duties. So I collected the dues. I had to help her to log into the office. I had to help her with budgeting for the cake sales, which items we should buy. I guess the brands to maximize the quality to our customers, and etc.
Okay, and I served as treasurer on two clubs at my high school, the Interact Club and the Youth Empowerment Club. So I was responsible for collecting dues from the members and from the executive body. I was also in charge of purchasing anything that was needed for the events we had, any initiatives that we executed. That was my role and responsibility.
Okay, thank you. Kenny, would you like to ask a question for them?
Yes, so hello. So I'm the current assistant treasurer. So my question is, so we have a lot of events and such as our dinner that's coming up. So and it costs money. So what strategies do you have to secure sponsorships for events? It's for everybody.
Okay, so strategies to foster sponsorship. Okay, so we would reach out to the different organization, let them know our initiative and exactly what we are planning, alongside with our regular fundraising activity plus more and the merchandising initiative that I was talking about. I think we can raise enough money, not only for the dinner, but to have enough leftover can supply a scholarship to the most outstanding club member. So I'm planning to work day and night with the planning committee, the fundraising committee, to ensure that we have more than enough fundraising activity to raise enough money for that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, so for me, I would reach out to organizations in the finance industry. With regards to our dinner, it's an opportunity for the students to network and speak to individuals in the profession and learn from them. So, reaching out to organizations in the industry and well, explaining to them that that's our goal, they may be willing to sponsor our event, as well as our regular fundraisers throughout the year and leading to the dinner would be how best we can fund a dinner such as that.
Okay, I agree with both Jamila and Kadisha in terms of reaching out to persons in the financial industry for additional help. I do believe that we should set a goal each month, um, in terms of what each member should contribute, because I feel like this, I'm sorry. We should also plan ahead. We should have an idea of the various events we may want to have, or in this case, this is an annual dinner. We estimate that this would occur every year, right? So I feel like we should have proper budgeting protocols in place so that we can say, okay, we need to work towards this amount because the dinner is in this month. I feel like we should also try to reach out to new members, because if we reach out to new members, then that also allows us to maximize our revenue. So this will help us to fully accomplish what we need to accomplish in terms of funding our events and more sponsorship deals.
Okay. So you guys spoke about reaching out to the financial companies, saying that, hey, we have an event and we would like you to sponsor it. So what incentives would you guys provide for them? Can you guys hear me?
Can you repeat the question?
So you guys spoke about reaching out to the different companies about sponsorship. So I'm saying that what do you plan to do to like incentivize them to like sponsor the event? Why should they give the money to you?
Okay,
Will
so
you guys say, for example, you could
okay,
invite
so
them to it, or you could add their logo to say the banner or whatever.
okay, so what we would do is obviously create an PowerPoint and go to them professionally and tell them our plans, our initiative, and let them know exactly what these events mean to us and what their contribution would do for not only the club, but not only us academically, but professionally, because we get, as Jamila said, it's a networking event, and we can go to them with that, and also we can collaborate where we can, as you said, had their brands, like when we are doing the event and live streaming it, we can put their brands on it, advertise that they were one of our main sponsors, and just ensure that they're included with everything.
Okay, so it would be good PR for the companies that choose to sponsor our event. So, as you mentioned, we could include their logo on banners and any material promoting our dinner to others to show that they are a sponsor of our event. And we can also have a section, since these industries would be in the financial sector, they could also have a speaker, or we could have them have a speaker that can yes, share a few parting words with those, because some will be leaving to go into the working world, some will still be in school. But to share a few words of encouragement and also provide some opportunities and resources that they can use. So it would be good PR for the businesses. So that would be a good reason for them to sponsor us.
Okay, so we do have some questions from the live chat on YouTube. The first question being, and this is to all candidates, have you conducted research into the cost of merchandise, and what is your plan to ensure that these prices are affordable to members in the event that the purchasing cost per unit is high? Jamila, you may go first. Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm not sure if anyone else can.
Okay, Kadisha, you may go ahead. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the question is, and this is to all candidates, have you conducted research into the cost of merchandise, and what is your plan to ensure that these prices are affordable to members in the event that the purchase price per unit is high?
Okay, so for the purchase, like for example, I talked about the water bottle. So I was planning to buy bulk water bottles and get them printed on, and I know places that offers discount to students, because as I said, I was past treasurer. I live in Clarendon, and I know places in Clarendon that offer discount to students because I've worked with them before. And buying the stuff in bulk, then getting them printed would cost
Kadisha is frozen on my end. I'll give her. Okay. We didn't hear the last part of what you said. The
I'm not
last thing
sure
we
with.
heard was water bottles. You'd buy them in bulk. Can you know companies? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, as I said, I was a treasurer for my for tourism club, and we work with companies that offer discount to students, and so I would go to them in Clarendon. I'm not sure about town. I haven't done any research in town, and they offer discount. I would buy the water bottles in bulk, and that would guarantee a lower per unit cost. And for the wristband and stuff like that, again, I think we can buy those in bulk and get our merch on them by getting a student discount.
Thank you, Miss Anglin. Leah?
Hi, can you please repeat the question again?
So the question is, have you conducted any research into the cost of the merchandise that you all plan to sell, and what is your plan to ensure that these prices are affordable to members in the event that the purchase cost per unit is high?
Mm, okay. I would have to take the initiative to call several companies who I know deal with the sort of customized merchandise, and I would have to present it to the executive so that we can all come to a decision or which company would be the best to go with. I would also have to, I guess, internally analyze which one may be the best decision and why, and then we can come up with a plan to present it to the club members and tell them approximately the cost each person would have to contribute in order to make this work.
Okay, thank you. Jamila?
Okay, so the merchandise I had suggested were stickers and armbands. So armbands can be, as Kedisha said, bought in bulk and then to just get them printed on. So as treasurer, I'd have to evaluate all the possible options to see which is the most cost effective. There are various printers in Kingston, and as Kedisha mentioned, they will provide discounts if you request services in bulk. And the items that I mentioned are generally not very expensive. Nothing would be more than $500. Stickers, nothing more than 200. And then the designs would be created by our PRO. And yeah, so that's what I would do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, nominees. Your next question, this one goes to Khadisha. What is the criteria to select the most outstanding member? What will you do if several members meet this criteria?
So if I'm correct, the UAS have a award for where they select a outstanding member. Am I correct, President? And so
That's correct.
that person would be given the grant or scholarship.
Okay, thank you. And this question is for Leah from the live chat. And it states, you mentioned setting monthly financial goals. How do you plan to achieve this? Is it that you will have monthly or weekly fundraising events or make it mandatory for members to contribute dues?
Okay, in terms of having weekly events, I think that is probably not the best plan to do because not every week we get, I guess, the amount of views you'd want to get. So if I guess we dig in, I don't want to say dig, if we use up let's say the previous club year's funds, I guess in a way that would be considered a quote unquote loss. Monthly, I feel like we can aim towards monthly. It would also be a way to it would also be a way to attract new members because I feel like not a lot of persons know about Actuarial Society. So it would be a way to bring awareness to the club. What was the last part of the question, Steph?
Will you make it mandatory for members to contribute dues?
Mandatory. If I'm being honest, I am kind of on the fence about That one. I don't really want to say mandatory because the truth is you don't really know everyone's financial status. So you don't really want to put anyone on the spot and put anyone in their out of their comfort zone to come to you and say, hey, I just can't come and do it this month. But at the same time, like we understand that the club does need funding. It needs to keep holding its events because this is what we are known for. So yeah, it's yeah, there are pros and cons to that.
Okay, thank you, Leah. And this is your last question from the live chat to all. So, have you actually talked to student members to see if they're actually interested in purchasing any of the merchandise that you have mentioned? Kadisha, you may go first.
Okay, so I haven't talked to a lot of students, only my friend group, and they would, in fact, be interested, including myself, in the merge because UE Society is not just a club. When you're in the club, it becomes a part of you, something that you want to rep. And I believe that students would be interested in buying the merch, even though I haven't conducted an extensive research.
Thank you, Leah.
Um, no, I haven't spoken to any students in regard to the merchandise. If I'm being honest, I actually didn't really speak out. I actually didn't mention merchandise in my speech at all. So that wasn't really in my plan.
Okay, thank you. And Jamila?
Yeah, similarly to Kadisha, it was just a conversation between me and members of my friend group. But as she said, I do think it is something that the members would be interested in. Otherwise, from having jerseys that they can wear when we have club meetings and other school events to rep the Actuarial Society, I think it's something that they can wear everywhere. An armband, you can always have it on. A sticker, you can put it on. As many of your items as possible, and that will just bring recognition to the club. Maybe someone will see it and say, "Oh, what club is that from?" And it's an opportunity to invite new members to our wonderful society.
Okay, thank you, nominees. Thank you so much. You all did well answering all the questions, those you were prepared for and those you weren't. So now we will head to the persons who are vying for the position of General Secretary, which are Miss Leah Cassie and Miss Shaniko Small. We will begin with Miss Leah Cassie.
Okay. Good afternoon, Stephanie, fellow candidates, and my UAS family. My name is Leah Cassie, and I'm grateful to be elected for the role of General Secretary for the upcoming 2025 to 2026 academic year. I am a second year actuarial science student and a proud old girl of the St. Andrew High School for Girls. During my time there, I was a member of several clubs. However, I was elected as PRO and event coordinator for Modern Languages Club and Red Cross Club, respectively. Although I have no direct experience in the role of the secretary, I did assist the elected secretary for one of my previous clubs in completing her duties. Nonetheless, this does not deter me from becoming a secretary who not only efficiently executes her duties, but one who does not shy away from a challenge. After speaking to the current General Secretary, Brianna Amore, I know that this position is one that should not be taken lightly. This position requires dedication, commitment, and of course, clear communication, skills which I already possess. I know that this role demands a lot of work, from taking the minutes of meetings to effectively managing the master sheet, to even drafting up various letters and emails. The work is endless but not impossible. This is why scribble, schedule, or summary, Cassie is your secretary. If elected as your secretary, I promise to execute the idea of a weekly or bi monthly newsletter our current secretary had aspired to do. I believe that this will assist in updating our current members of what plans have been made to our club and also as a strategy to attract new members so that we can expand our UAS family. Additionally, I am eager to assist in fostering more networking opportunities and gaining more sponsorship deals. I believe that our actuarial science, statistical science, mapping finance, or economics majors should all be granted opportunities to explore the various paths they may take after graduation. It is important that they should all be exposed to what awaits them after they close this chapter. Therefore, I hope to continue the workshops and extending invitations to guest speakers who can give us an insight into the many opportunities that are out there for us. Hence, for notes that slay, Cassie is the way. In conclusion, what I may lack in experience, I make up for in reliability, motivation, and collaboration. I would be lying if I said I can do this job by myself. This job requires a team effort where everyone can equally pull their weight so that we can unite and make this family stronger. So, of course, please keep it classy and vote for Cassie. Give me the opportunity to prove to you why you should let Leah lead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leah. Now I invite Miss Shaneka Small to the stage to share her manifesto.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shaneko Small, and I am excited to be running for the position of General Secretary for the upcoming academic year. I decided to run for this position not o- I decided to run for this position, not only this position, but to be on the executive body because so far I've enjoyed my time in the club and I feel as though I've seen the impact that this club has on myself and my peers, not only professionally but academically, due to the exposure to different material that we can take into consideration for planning for our future. As your general secretary, I believe I will serve as the glue that holds the club together behind the scenes. But why should you vote for me? I will make it a priority to stay on top of details and making sure everyone gets the information that they need when they need it. And I am someone who follows through with deadlines. As your general secretary, I'll make sure that communication is clear. Are you guys still hearing me? Okay, I'll do my best to make sure that lastly, I believe the best results come from shared efforts and team collaboration. Whether it be by delegating or listening, supporting, and simply contributing wherever I am needed, I am ready to work alongside the entire executive team in order to ensure that we meet our collective goals. What plans do I have? I'll suggest a mentor matching system that will just be a simple system based on the similar courses, year groups, or goals that offers support through mentorship or study buddies for exams or different classes, etc. Also, I proposed a meeting recap email where I know not everyone can come to every meeting, so I ensure they stay in the loop by sending a short summary of the meeting with any key takeaways or upcoming dates and reminders. Attendance form, and it will be optional just so that this keeps the club evolving and responsive to what the members actually want to see. Lastly, okay, with me as your secretary, you have someone who listens, communicates clearly, and stays on top of details. That makes a big difference. So let's stay organized, stay connected, and grow together. Vote Shaneko for secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanequa, and thank you again, Leah. We will now have questions by the current General Secretary, Miss Brianna Amore, as well as the current Assistant Secretary, Miss Ashari Perry.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so I'm going to, yeah, okay. So I'm going to admit I came in a bit late, so I didn't hear all of your pointers, but I'm still going to ask the question. So if it's a case where you have to repeat, sorry about that. But my first question is, so the secretarial position, it's a lot. I must say it's very hectic. So, how do you plan to balance the secretarial role with school and assignments? Okay, this question goes to both candidates, by the way. So, we can start with Shaniqua.
Okay, so I believe I will set realistic goals and just manage my time in a way that will allow me to meet these deadlines. So I'll make use of different organization apps like Notion or email reminders so that I can set personal goals that will allow me to also remind other people that hey, we need to get this done by a specific time, and realistic goals at that, and just manage my time around that.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
You're muted. Yeah.
Sorry, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, your question was how I plan to manage school and the various duties I have to do as a secretary.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that the position is a lot, so I know I would have to work closely with the assistant secretary. I know that communication has to be clear between the both of us. We both have to know what is going on. I guess in terms of school, we would have to distribute the work. If it's in this case, if it's a very hectic week, we would have to come to a decision to see, okay, you should do this, I should do this. I think that I should also communicate with the other executive members, especially the president, to let him or her know what is going on and what should be prioritized. If it's in the case where we have a lot of things, well, in this case, I guess if we have a lot of letters to draft up for a certain week, we should ask them, okay, which letters do you want us to prioritize for right now? Like right now, which ones do you need immediately, and which ones do you say, okay, no, we can leave this for the next couple of days. So essentially, communication is key, and I plan to do that if elected as secretary.
Okay, thank you. Before I go to Asher, I have one more question specifically for Leah. I see that you are up for two positions, secretary and treasurer. Is there one that you have more preference over? Is there one that you think you're more qualified for? Yeah.
Okay, so I can say, oh, sorry. Okay, so I can say that both roles they would offer valuable opportunities and lessons to be learned in the club. However, I do think I am better suited for the role of secretary. So, based on my background in high school, I know you said you came a little late, so I will just give a brief background of what I gave in. I don't remember if it was in my Q&A for treasurer. I was the PRO in my Red Cross Club at St. Andrew High School for Girls. However, because I was one of the few club members, or one of the few executive members, I should say, to be there almost every single week, I had to try to balance everybody's roles. So I had to help with drafting letters, emails, seeking approval from the principal, various organizations we may have wanted to do events through, and so forth. So I am kind of familiar in that aspect. I pride myself in being very transparent and being very organized. I do believe that at all times I should let my assistant, my fellow executive members know what is going on. But at the end of the day, I do believe that I can contribute meaningfully to the betterment of the club in either of the two positions. So I implore everybody that if you think I am suited for one position more than the other, to vote for me. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shari, do you have any questions?
Okay. Yes. So I have one question. This goes to both of you guys, of course. So my question is, you both would have mentioned like various qualities that you possess. So my question is, um, it doesn't have to be one of the qualities that you would have mentioned, but what do you think, like for a person who is in a secretarial role, what do you think is one of, or what do you think are some major qualities that you believe a person should possess, or would be an absolute asset to the position of secretary?
I think some of the qualities that a secretary should possess are being organized, reliable, and a good communicator.
All right, thank you. Oh, Liam. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, I believe that a secretary should be very organized. She should be very detail oriented. She should possess good time management because, as you said, the work is a lot. We do not want to put down one thing we can say we can do today, and then all of a sudden we have a lot of other things to do for the role. But at the same time, it's not only things that will pile up for the role. We also have things occurring in our school life, in our personal life. So being organized and having effective time management, I feel like those are one of the key skills a good secretary should possess.
Okay, thank you guys. That's it from me, Brenna.
Okay, I have a question for Shaniqua. So, if it was said before, you can say it again. But have you had a secretarial role or had a position where you can transfer those skills to a secretarial role? Or even if you weren't, well, you know, answer that first. Yeah.
Okay, not as secretary, but in high school, I served as president of Youth Empowerment Club and deputy house captain, as well as I served on the executive body for Interact Club. So I feel like I do possess some leadership skills, or I know how to manage the role, and I can transfer some of those skills to this position.
What type of skills that you did in those that you think you can transfer to the secretarial position?
I would say the organization, and I feel like for me, communication is a big thing. I think once you are able to let people know that you have
She pause for you guys. Did she pause for you guys?
Yeah, I think she got cut off.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we can see that Shaniqua is frozen at the moment. So in the meantime, I'll ask this question to Leah. So this is from the live chat. Leah, and it's directed to you as well. The newsletter is is an initiative that has been attempted over the year. What do you plan to do differently to achieve this?
Okay, so when I spoke to Brianna, I think she said that for the secretarial committee, there was only one person. Is that right, Brianna?
Yes, there is one person.
Okay, okay. So, for in order to for the newsletter to be accessed, I would think that I would have to try to recruit more persons to be on the secretarial committee because I actually didn't even know that this newsletter has been attempted over the years. I only knew of it being attempted within this academic year. So, in on top of what if I'm elected, on top of what I and the assistant secretary would have to do, doing the newsletter, it would be a lot. So I feel like that would be a good opportunity for the secretarial committee to kind of have a hand in the one of the roles or one of the goals we want to achieve in our secretarial duties. So I think more help would help us to achieve this.
Thank you, Leah, for that response. Unfortunately, Shanika isn't with us at the moment, but this question is would have been to both of you, and the question is, can you give an example of a time you had to organize something under tight deadlines? How did you manage it?
You said this is directed to both of us?
It is.
Okay. Um, I would say, hmm, tight deadline. But I mean, when I was in sixth form, everything kind of had to be done um in a very tight schedule. The one I can think of right now may have been, I think it was the last week of March in when I was in grade 13, so that would have been in 2023, either last week of March or 2 to 3 weeks before April had finished or before my CAPE exams. I remember for Modern Languages Club, I was the PRO. So at my school, like at university here, we have club weeks. So we had Modern Languages Week. So I remember usually over the years, we would get um they would tell us when our club week is so we can put the certain protocols in place so we can prepare so everyone can probably incorporate some of the members to help us with having a very well executed modern languages week. However, that year I think we got the notification on Monday, and it was no, not a Monday, it was a Thursday, and it was to be for the following Monday. And that time my Languages Week is the full entire week. So we have activities from Monday to Thursday, and on Friday we dress up for your various cultures. So persons would be in their African attires, their Chinese attires, Indian attires, so forth. But for that week, I remember because I was a PRO, we kind of had to come up with a plan quickly because at that time, my Languages Week it was postponed. It was supposed to be the first week of March. However, they told us late that they were canceling it that week. So at that time, we thought that the whole week was scrapped. So we didn't really have anything in place. So now that, we were told last minute that we have to prepare for our languages week, we have to try to come up with, okay, we need help designing posts for our social media accounts. We need help, sending out emails, asking the principal various requests because we are not the only club. Other clubs may send emails to the principal asking for permission to have club sales or whatever. And I remember at the time I was doing 5 subjects for CAPE. So at the same time I was studying for my exams because this was right before CAPE, and I also had extra classes. So that being said, that was a very, very stressful time for me. But we were able to do well. I think I still have pictures from that. We were able to divide the club members into various committees. So we said, okay, you guys, you'll help with the designing of this. You guys, you'll help with the food sale. You guys, okay, like we need help going to each classroom to do this. We need help spreading the word. So I think that was one of the roughest times I had to get something done within a tight deadline. But nonetheless, it got done. It got done, and it was done well.
Thank you, Leah, for that response. Shaniqua, I will
You're
now
welcome.
ask you the same question. And the question is, can you give an example of a time you had to organize something under tight deadlines? How did you manage it?
Could you repeat the question again, please?
Sure. So the question is, can you give an example of a time you had to organize something under tight deadlines? How did you manage it?
Okay, I've had to organize or help organize club collaborations with Interact Club and other clubs, and we had to do this under a tight schedule. And I think how I organized this was being able to speak to everyone and delegating, so assigning roles so that we could work collaboratively to just meet the goals and make sure that everyone is doing what they need to do. So when we come together, everything is done and just ensuring that we're constantly communicating to keep on track.
Thank you so much, Shaniqua, for that response. So this question is directed to Leah. It says, a lot of persons tend to shy away from joining the secretarial committee. What is your strategy to encourage persons to join so you have that assistance with the newsletter?
Okay, I would let them know that they will not be alone in everything they do. I will also help them if they need help. With a certain part, I will obviously help them. I will also let them know that it is a great opportunity to cultivate their letter writing skills because this is what they would most likely have to do when they eventually join the workforce. You're going to have to learn how to draft up a lot of last minute letters, last minute emails on the spot, maybe some impromptu speeches, some impromptu presentations. So I feel like encouraging them to join the secretarial committee, it would allow them an opportunity to try to hone in on these skills so that they won't be at a complete disadvantage in the workforce. They won't feel too overwhelmed or they won't feel too nervous. But I would let them know that if they need help with anything, we can obviously help them. Like we will show them how it's done, and then if they need advice on anything, they can always come to us to talk to us about it.
Thank you so much, Leah.
That's it.
Shaniqua and Leah, you both did an excellent job with answering your questions. Thank you so much. And you will now be, yes, thank you. So now, hi Brianna. Now we'll have a little icebreaker. So the first person, whether you are a current student or you are a past student, the first person who can tell me when and where this year's dinner will be will get a prize. Nobody knows? When and where will this year's dinner be held? Amanda! Woo! And that is $100 credit for Amanda Burnett. Mm, 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 mm. Woo! Okay, that's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now we'll have the showcasing of the teaser for our dinner. think that was too short. Replay. Woo! Are you guys excited? Can I see it in the chat? Send celebratory emojis. And Chanel, you asked who did the video. It was done by our PRO, Miss Mohita Shindepali. Woo! Okay, so now we are moving right into the candidates, the nominees who are vying for the position of General Secretary. These are, sorry, my apologies, who are vying for the position of Vice President. These are Mr. Khalil Mitchell and Ms. Tanoya Sama. We will begin with Mr. Khalil Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you hearing me? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Khalil Mitchell, and I am honored to stand, well, of course, it before you today as a candidate for the Vice President of the Actuarial Society. Firstly, I'd like to just thank whoever nominated me for this position. Your confidence means a lot, and your support, so I appreciate that. Um, so, Vice President, yeah, this role isn't just a title to me, it is an opportunity to serve, support, and strengthen this beautiful club, Actuarial Society. While I haven't held an executive position before, I have remained actively involved and contributed to society's outreach efforts. I volunteered at 10 City, Pink Run, Sigma Run, among other stuff. Um, I've always believed that leadership begins with service, and I've done my best to show up wherever I'm needed as much as I can. So, with that said, I believe I'm well suited for the role of vice president because the core of this position is about support, supporting the president, the executive team, and most importantly, supporting our members. I'm quite confident in my ability to step in when the president is not available, but more importantly, when they are available, I'm sure I can be a dependable partner in planning projects, organizing activities, and ensuring that our events and initiatives are run smoothly. Whether it's academic workshops, networking opportunities, or simply just volunteering, I want to work closely with the other members of the executive body to create experiences that will benefit every member of society. All right, so about my goals as vice president. Firstly, I want to bring a greater sense of consistency and permanence to the high school initiative. Since I've been a part of this club, the effort has felt somewhat on and off. It's a bit sporadic. If it were up to me, and it can be if you guys vote for me, the initiative would be as reliable and well established as our other flagship events. Uh, because I think this one is very important because this would help to nurture and support the younger generations that are coming up because not many people know about actuarial science as a career path. So just to raise awareness, I think it's a very good way to do that. Um, Secondly, first I would like to commend the past executive team for their outstanding efforts in organizing the insightful talks from industry professionals. These sessions they have provided invaluable exposure to real world actuarial practices, not just actuarial work, but with other professions in similar fields, which I think can inspire many students to actively pursue their career goals. Um, yeah. So, building on this strong foundation, I plan to continue and to better these initiatives by increasing the frequency of such events, diversifying the range of speakers across different fields, and incorporating more interactive elements like more question and answer panels and networking opportunities to deepen engagement with our members. Um, and lastly, about the mentorship program. uh, so in my experience, it was we just got an email say, okay, this is your mentor, this is your mentee, and you just reach out in your own time. But I feel like that um, although it was flexible, it somehow sometimes led to inconsistency and low engagement. So I'm putting forward a sorry um, an idea, I guess, to host a sort of kickoff event to break the ice, followed by regular check-ins and a midpoint get-together, kind of, which would help maintain momentum and accountability. Um, Additionally, expanding the mentor pool to include alumni and professionals, not only just persons who are currently studying at UE, which would enrich the experience for our members. So these enhancements would make the mentorship program and the club at large more impactful for everyone involved. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Once again, thanks for nominating me. And if you like what you've heard from me so far, voting opens today. So yeah, vote Kali for vice president. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil Mitchell. I will now invite Ms. Tanoya Salmon to share her manifesto.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good afternoon, viewers, current executive body, and fellow candidates. My name is Tanoya Salmon, and I am excited to share my vision with you as I vie for the vice president position of the UA Actuarial Society. As we consider the future of the club, you might be wondering what qualifies Tanoya for the vice president position. Let me share my story with you. With my experiences in leadership, from serving as the president of the Wilmot Girls Interact Club for the 2023 to 2024 academic year, to being the current captain of the UWIAS Purple Dragons, I have gained valuable experiences working with diverse personalities to complete various tasks and achieve specific goals. These experiences have prepared me to effectively coordinate projects, facilitate communication between members, and most of all, creating a safe space for people to voice their opinions. My vision for the UA Actuarial Society is one of collaboration, inclusivity, and growth. As Vice President, I aim to leverage my skills to bridge the gap between related fields under actuarial science. As such, this academic year would have interclubbings with economics, accounting, and statistic-based clubs, fostering a sense of community and promoting interdisciplinary collaborations. I would also focus on facilitating communication between students and prospective employers, assisting our members in understanding the actuarial profession and encouraging them to take the professional examinations. This will help our members to better be prepared for the workforce and increase their chances of success in the actuarial field. Additionally, I would also ensure that there is a keen balance of our events to cater to both actuarial science majors and non-majors, promoting diversity and opportunities for all those concerned. To support our members' growth, I would organize seminars to help build essential soft skills such as public speaking, communication, and time management, just to name a few. These skills are crucial for the success in the work world, and I am committed to providing our members with the tools they need to excel. With your support, I'm confident that we can achieve great things. Help me help you become the best version of yourselves, which will be evident if you vote Sanoya Samon for Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanoya. We will now have the question and answer segment, but before that, we'll have the current Vice President, Ms. Ladonia Henry, asking you both some questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, congratulations to you both for being nominated and accepting the role for Vice President. My first question to you both is what is the main responsibility that you think the Vice President holds, and how do you think you can be the best candidate to achieve that? We can start with Tanoya. You said you look like you were able to respond.
Okay, thank you for that question. So I think that the main responsibility is creating the initiatives, and in order to achieve those, I plan to work closely with my other exec members and ensure that the tasks are carried out efficiently and effectively, and also ensuring that each person has a weighted part of the task so that no one gets overwhelmed with the activities. Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead, Khalil.
All right, so I think the main responsibility of the vice president is to support the president in their role, as well as Tanoya said, they are in charge of some of the initiatives. Um, what was that part of the question? Sorry.
Why do you think you would be the better candidate to achieve that objective?
All right, thank you. Um, what do I think I'd be a better candidate? As I said, um, I have been showing up, which I think that's kind of underrated, but that is most of what this role is, in my opinion. Just showing up, being there to help the president or the other exec members and for the initiatives. I feel like we have a very good foundation for that, based on the past exec. So, kind of like just trying to reproduce and making better where we can, um, would go a long way for um, keeping initiatives on track.
Okay, thank you for your responses. As Khalil mentioned, a part of being vice president is to just show up and assist with the running of um, the activities that we have. I know that you would have mentioned some of the initiatives that you attended, Khalil. Would you both be able to commit to attending most, if not all, of the events that we have, and also overseeing them as well? Is that something that you have done before, and is that something that you are feel like you are well equipped to do now? Show up, oversee, and coordinate.
Okay, so first of all, I am willing to show up and I'm willing to coordinate as well. So I've been in the position of coordinating because I served as the president, as the captain of the Purple Dragons for this academic year. And I had to ensure that we had people participating in the various events. We had to plan, along with my vice captains, we had to plan out the events and plan out the how we're going to allocate the task and stuff like that. So showing up and participating in the events are, I will be able to do those. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Khalil?
Yeah, I'm sure that I'll be able to show up again, um, and with the help of the rest of the exec, um, I will be able to successfully oversee these events. Yeah.
Okay. A part of being the vice president as well is to follow up on the initiatives that you
that the president or the vice president or whoever else would have initiated, follow up on the progress, and also just to ensure that it comes to fruition. Have you guys had any other experience besides being the captain of Purple Dragons? And that's a personal bias, guys. I'm sorry. A part of being a captain of Purple Dragons, do you have prior experience leading a team to ensure that everyone is meeting their deadlines as well?
Okay, yes, I do have experience. So in Upper 6, I served as the president of the Interact Club, and we had several initiatives. And one of the initiatives, we had to donate to the Maxfield Children Home, and we had to delegate the task. So we had persons that were responsible for getting the initiative across the campus. Those responsible for gathering the goods and those responsible for packaging. So I had to follow up with the persons that were promoting the initiative and follow up with those who were responsible for collecting the items in order to ensure the success of the event. Thank you.
Go ahead, Khalil.
Um, so as I said before, unlike Tonoya, unfortunately, I haven't held much uh, leadership roles in clubs or stuff prior to hopefully, but as I said, I'm here willing to show up, and as part of the exec, I think that um, the other members or even oh, wait, the other members would we would come together. Um, so even if I think a task or if I am assigned a task, well, the initiative, I could seek advice from them if I'm not sure, uh, or reach out to older members or alumni, I think, to seek advice on how to carry out these initiatives if I stumble into any roadblocks and stuff.
Okay, thank you both for responding. My last question for now, because I know I'm limited, is if a situation arises where you do not agree with the course of action that the president may recommend, how would you convey that, and how do you manage conflict, and what's your overall demeanor when you don't agree with the popular vote?
Okay, so I think the best way to solve it, especially in this setting, would be communicating and sitting and talking stuff out. So we'll have exec meetings and talk with the president and let the president voice our opinions, but do so respectfully because it's not what we say, it's how we say it at times. So we need to ensure that we come off as respectful at all times and just communicate. Just ensure that we communicate effectively. Thank you.
All right, so when it comes to disagreements within the team, I believe you have to create a safe space, kind of, where everyone feels heard. Um, so no one feels like we're picking sides or anything. So if conflict arises, I would approach it by listening carefully to both perspectives, um, encouraging open dialogue, encouraging them to talk it out and guiding conversation and try to remain objective. But I think it's important to realize that not every disagreement will end with an agreement. Like, you can always agree to disagree. You can always find a mutual respect and a way forward. So yeah.
Okay, perfect, guys. Thank you so much for answering. I really love those last two responses, especially as vice president. You are required to ensure that you put the team and the efforts of the actuarial society above your personal feelings. So, guys, please bear that in mind. Please support your president and ensure that you just continue to do your best. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Khalil and Tanoya. We have some questions from the live chat. The first being directed to Khalil. How would you go about making the school initiative more consistent? Additionally, how would you go about funding it?
That's a great question. Um, Making it more consistent, I think we'd have to come up with a plan so we could, at the beginning of the semester, we can reach out to a few schools, um, not only just rural schools, but schools in general. Reach out to them and see how, like, ask them to within their among their students who are interested in actuarial science and similar fields. And then after we get that feedback, hopefully it doesn't take too long, we can then, um, what am I trying to say? We can then communicate with them, yeah, to see when's the best time or how we can uh, get a chance to sit down with the students and speak with them. Second part of the question, how would you go about funding it? Ah, that's an interesting question. Uh, we'd have to see. We could ask the treasurer if there's any available funds, so we could make a trip to the schools, or if it's not too far. Well, I wouldn't say walk, but if it's close enough, then the cost to get there and stuff shouldn't be that much. Uh, yeah.
Thank you, Khalil. Now, Tanoya, your question is, how do you plan to promote or assist students in taking more exams? What supports, aid, and resources would you consider implementing to further increase the number of students taking exams?
Okay, thank you for that question, Jamila. So I plan to have more seminars or workshops with the current actuaries, and the actuaries could come in and encourage the members, give them hands-on experiences, and give them the opportunity to ask their questions about the exams and about the life after the exams, so that they will be more understanding of what all the exams entail. And for resources, I'll have to reach out with the actuaries to find out some resources they have used, and then we'll pass it on to the members.
Thank you, nominees. That's all for the position of Vice President. Thank you. You both did an excellent job. Oh, we have one more question from Jaden Thompson. How well do you guys think you can engage the fellow members? We'll start with Khalil.
Uh, so fellow members of the club, I assume that's what you're trying to say. Um, so to engage with them, I think going into my third year, so the members of the club would either be in the same year as me or in a position that I in previously. So I think that I could relate well with them because what they're it's the same courses, I guess. So I I would be able to relate with them to see what they're. I can relate with them like in seeing the position that they're in, um, to see how best I could help them and to tailor or events and stuff to satisfy their needs based on what they would be experiencing at each stage of their academic journey.
Tanoya?
Okay, I think we can engage the fellow members by having more events or having a clear balance of events where we have an interaction between the members, not just having people coming and presenting or having workshops where they have to sit and listen, but have more activities to get them participating and interacting with each other. Thank you.
Thank you both for your responses. You both did an excellent job today. So now we are at the last position for the afternoon. We have the nominees who are running for the head of the ship, the presidential position. These nominees are Miss Kenelia Bailey and Mr. Ajani Crossman. We will begin with Miss Kenelia Bailey.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. As a dedicated member and the current Assistant Treasurer of the UWI Actuarial Society, I have seen firsthand how our club shapes both our academic and professional journeys. My vision for the upcoming year is to strengthen our society, making it a supportive, engaging, and empowering space for every member. One of my key initiatives is inviting high school students to our online seminars, where accomplished professionals who have earned their degrees and passed rigorous exams share their experiences. These sessions will provide insights beyond what a Google search can offer, helping students to see the versatility and impact of the actuarial science degree while inspiring them to explore career possibilities in the field. I also want to enhance our seminar offerings by covering key topics like risk management and pensions instead of limiting speakers to actuaries. I propose inviting CFAs, insurance professionals, and financial strategists to provide a well rounded perspective on these areas. This will ensure our discussions combine both theoretical concepts and practical applications, helping members to prepare for the real world. To keep everyone informed and engaged, I will introduce a monthly calendar of events outlining all the upcoming activities. Beyond academic enrichment, I believe in celebrating and strengthening our community. To recognize outstanding contributions, I propose a Member of the Month initiative, highlighting one exceptional member each month and fostering a culture of encouragement and excellence. Additionally, learning should be fun, and I want to incorporate engaging activities like a live trading game, risk management simulations, and investment portfolio challenges. These interactive experiences will not only build skills but also strengthen connections within our society. Community is at the heart of everything we do. By supporting one another, sharing knowledge, and creating meaningful experiences, we can build lasting relationships that extend far beyond our time at UA. I am committed to fostering a welcoming and collaborative environment where every member feels valued and empowered to succeed. In conclusion, I'm dedicated to continuing the great work of past presidents by expanding opportunities, fostering inclusivity, and strengthening our community. Through impactful seminars, interactive learning, and meaningful connections, we will ensure our society remains a space for growth, inspiration, and success. Thank you for your time and support. I look forward to shaping a great future together.
Thank you, Miss Bailey. I will now invite Mr. Ajani Crossman to share his manifesto.
Okay, thank you. Outgoing members of the executive, members of the UAS family, those watching and supporting online, and fellow candidates. Good afternoon. I, Ajani Crossman, humbly stand here as a candidate for presidency of this prestigious club. And though it may seem zealous, I am confident in my abilities to lead this club to greater heights. Before I get into my plans, I must first thank the current executive for the marvelous job they have done at running this club. Now, why should you vote Ajani Crossman for president? While I may be new to the club, leadership is something I am quite familiar with. I currently serve as class representative of two classes here at UWI and was the shadow EAC for this club. At the high school level, I was senior prefect, student council representative, captain of the quiz team, vice president of the debating society, treasurer of the Molly United Club, and form captain. Now, I understand that these are not the same as holding an executive position at a university club, but I believe these positions have equipped me with the requisite skills needed. My time, especially spent doing two competition and team-based extracurricular activities, has honed not only my time management and organizational skills, but more importantly, it has drastically improved my ability to work in a team, as it has shown me time and time again how valuable each individual's input may be. Additionally, as I serve as a senior member of these teams, I like to think I have mastered the art of mediation and conflict resolution. As trust me, there's nothing that breeds conflict more than when you have opposing views with a team member and there's a cash prize on the line. No, I believe the impact of my novelty to this club will be negligible in my leadership, not only because of the skills I possess, but also due to the very well laid out constitution of this club that I have become acquainted with. What you think I may lack in experience, I make up for in determination and innovation. What are my plans? Well, firstly, following the constitution of this club, we know that there are initiatives and activities that must take place, and I take the time now to solemnly pledge that I will, to the best of my ability, elected president or not, help organize and participate in all these initiatives to ensure its smooth running, whether it be Spirit Week or annual beach cleanup or beach trip or our street feeding. I'll put my all into ensuring it is well subscribed to and an overall success. While our Constitution allows for community involvement, I believe there's more that we can do. And one such initiative I would propose is a book drive, preferably at the start of the school year, since September is indeed Literacy Month. Moreover, while the club thus far has done an excellent job at providing opportunities and training for those who want to pursue a career in actuarial science, I plan to diversify the opportunities that this club presents to its members. I understand that this is an actuarial society, but I also understand that some of our members do not want to only become actuaries. Some may want to become certified financial analysts, risk management analysts, among other things, and I want to provide an opportunity for all. Furthermore, I believe that even if as a club we may not be able to cater to every individual career field, we can, in a more general sense, help all our members prepare for their professional futures. As such, I want to host a resume building and interview prep session where our members can benefit from a more personal and hands-on training. In accordance with this, I also want to host more interclubbing activities on and off campus. We can interclub with clubs from the Faculty of Social Sciences, such as the Investing and Capital Markets Club, to expose ourselves to the multitude of opportunities that exist. Such activities allow for networking as we interact with students who will eventually enter fields adjacent to ours and may also meet top executives in corporate Jamaica. Also, we have the math club right there. We can maybe do a math quiz or another fun-filled competition that further amplifies club spirit. I also want to expand our club's membership, and this all begins at orientation. If elected, I, alongside the executive, will take the necessary time to brainstorm and come up with creative ideas that will be displayed at our booth that will draw people to our club. We'll ensure that we listen to the incoming student suggestions and mold the club into a safe space for them. Also, as we do more interclubbing, we increase our presence and may reach more potential members. Lastly, while much has been said about how I will improve the club from a professional and career befitting standpoint, I understand that at its core, this is an after school activity, an activity that many use, myself included, as a way to de stress after a stressful week. As such, I promise to ensure that everything we do, we keep the light-hearted and jovialness of our club meetings. This is something that has worked well for our current executive, and it is not something I plan to change. So how can I accomplish this all? Well, first it will take a team, so we will share the burden of this club's legacy. School is still a priority, so the summer will be used to plan meetings for the semester. Additionally, Where sponsorships are concerned, I know people who know people. My first year as a member of my high school quiz team, I would have led an initiative to reach out to Old Boys for funding, which culminated with our quiz team receiving over a $600,000 donation. Now, I know there's no Old Boy Association here that I can depend on, but I also know for certain I will find a way to get us that funding. So, as I come to the end of my speech, I implore you to choose a low risk and high reward option. Vote Crossman for president of UWIAS. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajani. Thank you. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for both you and Cornelia. Cornelia said her internet went, so I will ask you. So, my first question is, how will you ensure that the executive team works cohesively and stays motivated throughout the academic year?
No, I'm so happy. Thank you for that question, first thing.
You're welcome.
There's no such thing as ensuring, as I am not God. But I'll do all in my power to facilitate effective communication amongst our teams. And where that cannot be facilitated, I myself will step in as a middleman or a mediator to ensure that we can work together, even if we find um, individual problems with each other. Because as a matter of the fact that they have run for this position, it clearly means that everyone here end goal is to promote this club.
Thank you, Ajani. Cornelia, the question passes to you, and I'll repeat. The question is, how will you ensure that the executive team works cohesively and stays motivated throughout the academic year?
Wait, could you please repeat the question for me?
I will. So the question goes, how will you ensure that the executive team works cohesively and stays motivated throughout the academic year?
Okay. So for them to work together and to stay motivated through the academic year, I would ensure that we work together as a team and we would resolve all our problems quickly, and we would like add subcommittees and helps to prevent burnout so that they
Thank
stay
you.
motivated. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bailey. So my next question is, what steps would you take if an executive member is underperforming or not fulfilling his or her duties? Ajani, I'll start with you.
Okay, thanks. If an executive member is underperforming or not performing his or her duties, the first thing I'll do is pull them aside and ask them what is going on. If it's a personal issue, try to encourage them. If I know I am not the closest with that executive member, I'll probably ask another member of my executive so that it can come from a familiar source so they don't feel like they are being um, bomb rushed or attacked. No, if it's a case where it persists to them doing absolutely nothing, I'll then follow the steps that would have been listed in our constitution, where we would put it to a vote among our executive members. And based on the outcome of that meeting and the vote, then we would move forward.
Thank you. Cornelia, the question passes to you.
Okay, so if a member of the executive is not working, so I would try to figure out what the problem is. Maybe they're having exams, no, or like a lot of assignments and see if they need help. Or maybe they would need like a member, some help. So we try to get them a help, even if it's like a subcommittee or more members on their subcommittee. But if it's just that the person does not want to do not want to do their work, then I would give them a warning. And if they continue, then they would just have to be replaced.
Thank you, Miss Bailey. My next question is as follows. So, being the president of the UWI Actuarial Society is a lot of work and it is very demanding. How do you plan to manage the demands of the presidency alongside your academic responsibilities? Ajani, will begin with you.
Thanks again. While the task itself might seem daunting, I have, before I even decided to run for this, would have thought about this And the first thing I thought about was that, well, I have an entire summer. I have 3 months of summer. So as it relates to planning club meetings, I could probably plan out an entire semester of club meetings within that 3 months. However, we know that things may not go according to plan always. And this is where I would rely on my team. Even though I am at the helm of the ship, I can't burn myself out. So I would know that if I need to pass some tasks off once they don't directly require me, but I just feel like I took them on and I can't handle them, I'll try as best to disseminate it amongst my executive so that the club can keep pushing even if I am feeling somewhat of a burnout.
Thank you. Cornelia, the question passes to you. It seems as though she has. I will. Cornelia, the question passes to you. Would you like me to repeat?
Yes, I'm having trouble with my internet.
Okay, no problem. So, being the president of the UWI Actuarial Society, it is a lot of work and quite demanding. How do you plan to manage the demands of the presidency alongside your academic responsibilities?
Okay. So I believe that if you plan the events and the different initiatives properly and in advance, and if you have the calendar of events so you would know what you're going to do and when you're going to do it so you can plan it. So for example, if we're having a sale, you would work with the treasury and the fundraising subcommittee to plan the sale in advance. And I would just have to manage my time properly and to have set times for like doing the work and doing the my schoolwork and doing the club work.
Thank you. My next question. What is one thing that you have admired or would improve on from the previous administration? Ajani will begin with you again.
Okay. As it relates to admiration, I would have pointed this out in my speech. I admired how jovial and lighthearted the present administration had club feeling. It made it a great place to de-stress. And this is something that I would like to continue as I move into the role of presidency if so elected. As it relates to what I would improve on, I would have again talked about interclubbing. I loved our interclubbing with the Rotaract Club. It was very fun. But I see where as a club we could do even more interclubbing initiatives across the campus just so that we can be more exposed to other people and that other people can be more in the know about our club and what we stand for.
Thank you. Miss Bailey?
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. So the question is, what is one thing that you have admired or you would improve on from the previous administration?
So one thing I've admired about the previous administration is, I guess, how we work together. I believe that we work well together and we really don't have any, like, a lot of conflicts. And I would really like that to happen when I'm the president for September, if I'm elected. And one thing I would improve on is I would improve on or sorry. I would improve on our social media presence for like TikTok and whatever. TikTok.
Okay, thank you, Miss Bailey. So my next and final question is, how do you plan to maintain club turnout? Keep members interested in coming to meetings weekly, especially towards the end of the semester when the workload becomes heavier. We will start with Cornelia this time.
Okay. So to keep members coming from the club, we would have new activities. So new interesting activities. In my manifesto, I stated that we would have fun games like, for example, a live trading game. So we can make it a competition. We can use websites such as Investopedia, where we would get
$100,000 and you can invest it and trade. So we could make it a competition and we could have other fun activities such as that to keep them coming to the club.
Before I continue, that $100,000, would it be? Can you expound on that, please?
Oh, it's just a game. So you would get so they would start you off with 100K and then you can just invest it into the stock market and trade.
Okay, thank you,
Like,
Ajani. Thank you, Ajani.
Okay. How would I keep club members interested in the club? Well, the first thing is that when people become disinterested, sometimes you can see them out and find out why exactly they're disinterested. So, as best as I am able to, without being too hounding, I would find out what I can do or what we as an executive can do to keep them interested in coming. Listen to their suggestions, work it in as best as we possibly can. And as I stated, I want to keep the club a place where people can de-stress at. So if I am successful in doing that, then I have no worries that during times of finals, people will be looking for a place to de-stress and they will still be coming out to club because it's that 1 hour of fun with friends and what you would consider family that you can just count on to get you out of a sour mood or out of a bad funk if you're having a bad studying day or anything like that. So that's how I would keep people interested and coming in the club, especially as it's nearest exam season.
Thank you, Mr. Crossman. So we do have some questions from the live chat. The first being, and is from our current VP, being president means showing up to most events, EAC included. Do you think you'd be able to support those initiatives? We'll begin with Cornelia.
Okay, so yes, as the president, I would show up to the different initiatives, the EAC and the other one. Because since first year, I've been an active member of the club, and I would like to continue to be a very active member of the club.
Thank you. Ajani?
As it relates for me, well, I just solemnly pledged in my speech that I would be able to be at these events. I made it a point of duty to know exactly what I was getting into before I joined. So I would have reached out to past executive members and asked them about what it's like to run the club. And as well as I familiarize myself with the constitution so I know exactly what the mandatory EAC meetings are. And as president, I would be planning this with my executive, so I feel like I'd have even more time before the event to know. So I'd be better able to allocate my time so I know not to double book that day or anything. And once I'm not double booked, I'm very committed. So if I'm not double booked, I'll be there and I'll ensure that I am not double booked as president.
Thank you, Ajani. So our next question comes from our immediate past president, Ms. Jamila McGowan, and it states, how do you adapt? How do you adapt to changes and respond to challenges? We'll start with Ajani.
Okay, thank you, Jamila, for that question. I actually love challenges. I first started pursuing a degree in actuarial science because I thought it was challenging. Things that are challenging just stimulate me, and I think I adapt to change well. Again, being a part of a team, especially playing something like quiz, the game is never going exactly how you think it is, and you really just have to adapt to that change to ensure that you're on top. And this is something that I really would have worked on during my time as quiz, especially when I was captain, since I then had to not only focus on my game but my team game. So I think I'm very adaptable, and it's something that I would further implement or use as I run but as I serve my term as president if I'm elected.
Thank you. Cornelia?
Okay, so I believe that I adapt well to changes and I respond well to challenges. And so previously, I've had past leadership positions. In fact, I do have a leadership position now. And of course, we would have our different challenges and it would work with the other persons, the other execs, or the other persons that's on your committee to push through the challenges.
Thank you, Camila. Our next question is from Jamila again, and it goes: how do you plan to support the different executive members and committee in achieving their initiatives, in addition to building on skills and personal development? We will start with Cornelia.
Could you please repeat the question?
So the question states: how do you plan to support the different executive members and committees in achieving their initiatives, in addition to building on skills and personal development?
Okay, so in order to support the future executive members, I would have to know their different initiatives, the different plans that they want to do, and we will work together to see how best we could achieve these plans. And I believe that working with them could help with like my personal development.
Thank you. Ajani?
Okay, thank you. Again, as it relates to supporting the different exec members, I know coming into this that I am not the only one with ideas, and I want to hear ideas from everyone. And I also believe in our democracy. So even though I would be at the helm of the ship, if elected president, every initiative would go across the executive as a popular vote. Whereas it is actually feasible to initiate such an event as it relates to building on skills and personal development. Well, as things challenge you, you develop more skills. So in this role, as I am challenged, I would improve on skills and personal development. And also, as you work in a team, their best attributes rub off on you. So I assume, or I hope that the best attributes of my executive members rub off on me, and the positive attributes that I have will also rub off on my executive, so that we can all build our skills and develop more as we aim to get our personal goals.
Thank you. And our last question from the live chat is: in aid of achieving the society's objectives, which includes that of being the executive member, how will you go about prioritizing and selecting objectives with your team to better able meet them? We will start with Ajani.
Okay, thank you again. As it relates to prioritizing objectives and initiatives, the first thing we will do is create a feasibility plan. So we have to check on all levels of account how feasible this is, and then we will go through and rank them. If feasibility isn't a big enough decider, then I believe that myself and my team can put it to a vote to first go home, research all these initiatives, think about what can be most impactful. Then we will come back and meet and share with each other what we think, how impactful each initiative will be. And then we'll put it to a vote based on what we hear from each other about how impactful it can be. And then we decide from there which gets highest priority and which one gets least priority.
Thank you, Ajani. Cornelia, the question passes to you.
Okay, so how will I go about prioritizing and selecting objectives with my team in order to meet them? So I would just have to know how feasible it is and if we'll be able to meet the objective, and if it's will be for like the how will it impact the club, if it will impact the club in a like positive way, or it won't do much. It don't. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You may continue.
Okay, so we'll just have to know how feasible it is and how it will impact the club. So, say for example, we have a lot of events planned or initiatives planned in September, and we want to add another one, which really isn't going to impact the club, and the all the executive members are already booked. Then we really couldn't do it. I would have to postpone it.
Okay, thank you, Cornelia. So that concludes our question and answer segment. You both did an excellent job with answering all the questions, both from myself as well as from the live chat. Thank you. So, just to conclude today's proceedings, thank you all for coming. Live chat, you were active, and I can see that everyone was sharing on their candidates and their nominees for their respective positions. Nominees, once again, thank you. You did an excellent job today, and congratulations, regardless of whether or not you got the position that you wanted. You did an excellent job. All nominees presented themselves well today, and I'm sure that if you didn't like what you say, you will build on it and you use this as a stepping stone in your professional and personal journey. And with that being said, voting starts today at 7 p.m. and will end at 11:59 p.m. Saturday night. So results will be posted on Sunday. So keep posted. They'll be posted in the WhatsApp group, and the links for voting will be shared directly to your email addresses. They will not be shared in the group, so only UAS members are eligible to vote. And I just have one more giveaway, just one more giveaway, and then we will depart from each other virtually. So, this question is hmm, this question is, let's see who knows club history. When did the club start? In which year did the club start? Oh my gosh! And we have Chanel with the correct answer. So the club started in the year 2002. Woo! Okay, so Chanel will win her prize and she'll be contacted. Thank you once again for coming out, and this concludes today's nominee debate. Thank you.